All right, welcome back. We are now in our gems section, and a gem is a funny story that you have for us in regards to things that happen. And I find when there is passion in something, there's also humor. And so I know you got to have a couple of gems for us, bud.
Yeah, we got some funny things that have happened, I suppose. So,
all right.
I look back and we talk about let's talk about fighting substance use disorder, fighting the disease of addiction.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of happiness that comes to that.
No.
One of our commonalities that we always say is, if we don't laugh about it, we're probably go crazy, man. Yeah. So we try and find a little bit of laughter, a little bit of peace in the storm by sharing some funny stories and different things.
Yeah.
But, most of us, when it comes to fighting the disease of addiction, we look at people's situations and the info that they gave us. And it's funny because the info that they give us, we've realized over time that they're, poor historians. They really don't remember how things really went, right? And they're if their lips are moving, they may be lying because it's just a trait, right? So we try not to have that judgmental. We try and look at it. But when we hear those folks and they tell their stories and all this type of things, they try and kind of lighten the load.
So when they say their number is 867-5309, that's probably not it.
That is not their number, probably, right? So,
that's right.
Yeah, so we try and decipher, right? So the hard part about my job is deciphering between, okay, he told me all that. I want to believe him. I want to believe her. It sounds good. I mean, look, my one of my faults probably is I believe everybody for what they say.
I know you do.
I do, right? Because I know when I talk with these folks that they want to change. I believe that, right? And I wholeheartily do. It's just a matter of how do they transition into doing what they want and making it. What are you willing to do, right? So I don't know. Just some funny things that come up is what people will say. And I always say this: people say whatever they say to get what they want to get,
right?
And then when they get what they want to get,
they become difficult.
They forgot everything they said to get it, right? And the whole thing switches, and you standing there holding the bag like, oh, you brought me that painting?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
And listen, when it comes to works of art, my brother, I will support you in whatever you decide to buy. I will say, though, that we have different ideas on what we believe is good.
Yes. So I was talking to a guy who does some artwork around town, and he advised me I would not probably make a good painting judge for him because my idea of art is kind of distorted. My appreciation.
Your idea of art's distorted.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
My idea of art is distorted. When I showed him my masterpiece, he said, A, where'd you get that? And B, I hope you didn't pay for it. And I did pay for it. And then when I told him, he asked, what's the amount? And I told him, he kind of laughed like you are, right? So, again, it was a gift that I couldn't turn down.
Yeah.
And it was.
So you're in this situation. This gentleman has been fighting the addiction world for a while. And in his mind, his painting abilities are there, but the outcome of it is different than your idea of what good art would be.
Yeah, and beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? And I can appreciate that.
And it was a one of a kind.
It's all good, right? So I did happen to pick up a one of a kind portrait of a warrior that happened to be on my business card, right?
Yeah.
And the guy brought it in to me. So I'm appreciative. I like it. We use it.
That's right. And
it brings us laughter and joy.
Listen, I have to tell you, I have to have it here. This here is the gem that we were taught. Absolutely have to have it here because we know that you paid top dollar for this kind of artwork. And our warrior here, we had to put this in, and this is a good background for our chessboard. What an absolute masterpiece that we have here.
It's a blessing.
Top dollar. This is my most favorite painting. You know it's my most favorite painting. And it has a great story to it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That was one of the first pieces I bought in my art collection.
And because you love these people, you're doing it. And I'm just like, Aaron, what are you doing?
And I got another little memento that maybe we could display sometime. It was a second piece.
Absolutely. It would be my pleasure to bring that in, that second piece. That was especially the A. And it's absolutely one of a kind.
One of a kind. That's kind of what I look for in my art collections, are one of a kinds.
You will not see another one like this.
Yes.
And will I say, the artist's ideas and thoughts are kind of there. And you can kind of see it in the background where his mind was getting to, right?
Oh, yeah,
honestly.
absolutely.
And but the outcome was uniquely not to your artistic ideas. So speaking on that, and coming from someone who doesn't handle things correctly, so being in a car accident, one of the things that you have to deal with is that gate between your mind and your mouth doesn't work. Okay, and I went through this for 3 years, saying every single thing I thought. Now, I want you to think about that for a minute, because how much trouble would you be in? And this is in self-defense of myself. I'm precluding this because this isn't like good or anything, but it's. I'm not going to tell you if it's true or not going to be true. I'm going to tell you it's a good story. So, going to a doctor, and they were doing laser treatment on my brain, which they were shooting a laser gun into my brain, trying to regrow brain cells to help with the injury that I have. So I go in there, and there's this Indian fella there, and it was right after lunch. So, like, I had a 1 o'clock appointment, right? So I have lunch at noon.
Gotcha.
And so he comes in. He's kind of a portly fella. And I don't know why it is that the worse someone's breath is the closer they require their mouth to be.
Right.
But he was like right here.
Okay.
And it was actually shooting directly into my nostrils while he's talking. And you have to understand now, from my perspective, he's talking. All of a sudden, he sets the gun down, stomps out, shuts the door. That's my perspective. Okay. And I'm like, man, what a jerk, right? So I wait a couple minutes because I don't know what's going on. The lady comes in and she says, I'm the manager of this establishment. And I'm like, well, good for you. And she said, Mr. Walsh, you cannot tell my employee that it smells like a cat poops in his mouth. Now, what you have to understand is at this moment, I thought that. But you would never say that because that'd be rude.
Right.
And now I'm sitting here in this moment going, oh, no, I actually said this to another human being. So now the conflict comes in. Do you support or defend the action, right? So I was like, all right, full defense mode. I'm like, ma'am, there is no way you've not smelled his breath before, and he's not coming back in here without some Big Red.
There you go.
His breath is terrible. And she started to chuckle, right? And I was like, okay, we're done here, right? And so we finish up and we go out, and we were in one of those physical therapy places where they got the bars that walk and the weights and the people doing the stretch stringy things and all that stuff. And again, I thought it would be funny. And I need to stress that part. Because I remember at the beginning I said he was kind of a portly fellow. And he was bending over to pick something up, and the slot appeared. Large slot. And I thought it would be funny if somebody put a quarter into the slot machine and yelled jackpot, because apparently he had missed underwear day. And
okay.
We were in front of everybody, and I thought that would be funny. In reality, it wasn't that funny. He was very upset. The one thing that I could not understand, though, is how the quarter made it from where I put it into the slot machine to where it came out, and how it managed to make it through that process. And I was trying to figure that part out while he was screaming at me, right? And then the funniest part was they said, well, we don't want you back anymore. And I was just like, well, like, you realize I have a brain injury. I didn't do that on purpose.
Right.
I didn't know that I was doing that. But see how easy it is to judge?
So did you pick up your change and go home then?
Oh, no, I told him he could keep it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you pick it up.
Take a quarter and call someone who cares, and we'll get back to you in the morning. Yeah, he didn't like me, and I accept that.
Right.
I accept that as a good answer.
So.
Absolutely.
Deservingly so. I
didn't know. What are you supposed to do? And I have people, Isaac, that's so terrible. You're right. But that's the story that let me realize that it was a problem.
Right.
And I went 3 years prior to that without knowing that was a problem. So imagine trying to sit there and think back about that.
Your
This
poor
is why-
wife.
Dude, man, my poor wife had to put up some stuff.
Right.
And I'm like, Lord, I apologize. Because I didn't even know that I was doing that, right? And when you're going through that, you don't know.
Right.
And people are judging you and talking about you. And I think it's all good fun. And people tell me what a terrible person I am. I'm like, yeah, there's definite support in the fact that you're probably right about that. But then when you look back at it and see, man, I came through something. Like my injury is called horror fusion, right? And there's only been 8 other people that have even had it. It's so rare. And no one's come back functional. And because it's so hard. Yet here I sit being functional, and people want to tell me, you're such a bad person. It's like, do you understand the back half acre of hell I walked from? Like, yeah, I can always improve. I can definitely be better. But judging me on that, I'm not sure if we put you in that particular
Until you get
pot
all the
that you're
info.
going to come out looking good either.
Right on.
I mean, I did come out looking
Rough.
pretty rough. But, I was alive,
Right.
so
That was the start. We got to have that.
that's right. So
We gotta have that.
that was our gem segment. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to get into what the United Community Addiction Network is doing now and what they're looking forward to in the future. We'll be right back.